From Mark Harmon's dog biting a coworker, to how the beef between the co-actors became the reason Pauley would never return to NCIS. Here's the real reason the actress refuses to work with Harmon. Let me warn you, it gets intense. The franchise has brought us actors that went on to do amazing things, causing everyone to fall in love with them instantly. While Pauley Perrette and Mark Harmon are some of the most recognized actors from the entire cast, their drama is also pretty well known to everyone. There was a lot of controversy back in the day, and it went on even after Pauley left NCIS in 2018, saying goodbye to the character of Abby Shudo, whom she played for more than a decade. That wouldn't have been the easiest farewell. At the time, it seemed that her exit was perhaps due to her beef with Mark. But was it? After she left the show, we learned that Mark Harmon and Perrette had numerous disputes behind the scenes. Word on the street is that Mark and Pauley's argument started when the actor brought his dog to set. Now, I know what you're thinking. Who doesn't love dogs? How did that start a fight? Mark Harmon's dog ended up biting a crew member, but it didn't end there. It wasn't just a little nibble or something that could be brushed under a rug. That incident actually led to the victim requiring 15 stitches. Now, that's a problem. Obviously, many of the cast and crew members decided to revolt against the pet. Apparently, Pauley was one of the most vocal among all of them, allegedly asking for the dog to stay away. But it didn't quite work out that way. According to sources close to the show, Harmon kept bringing the dog back. Common decency says you keep your pets away after they've caused an incident that big. Perhaps one of the reasons for the lack of action was that Mark was an executive producer, and the staff members were afraid or hesitant to ask for a change in the regulations. So you don't really need to be there to realize that the work environment sounds really toxic. If we keep all that in mind, I'm glad Pauley got out when she did. But perhaps there's another side to things as well. Apparently, the rest of the cast and crew got over the whole incident, but Pauley refused to move and became furious and refused to listen to him when he tried to explain the situation. The source even went so far ahead to say that she became a diva and refused to shoot scenes with Mark. She also refused to sit on the same side of the table as him for table reads. While that may sound like a justified position, this was all after Harmon attempted to make amends multiple times, but she only treated him with complete silence. It doesn't end there, though. Some even claim that everyone on the set was considerably more at ease after Pauley was gone. Apparently, after she left, the environment at work became better. But soon, the drama between the two became public. But it wasn't just limited to gossip and rumors. Their differences became so bad that they would never work on the same day or in the same location. If you're a keen viewer, you'll realize that the two stopped sharing scenes a long time before the actress left the show. Even when her character shared an emotional goodbye with everyone, she was never in the same room with him for a farewell. For her final episode, Gibbs simply received a letter that he read from across the street instead. The times that they did seem to be in the same room, it's movie magic all the way. In a way, the crew can be commended for their efforts to make her feel comfortable when she comes to work each day. But it never should have gone that far in the first place. Oh, and then came the tweets. No drama went down without making it to Twitter, right? Some of you might remember it like war flashbacks. But the now 54-year-old actress took to Twitter to vent her frustrations against her coworker in the only way it was done back then. On May 8, 2018, her final episode aired, and everyone seemed to have parted ways amicably. But a week later, the actress shared alarming charges on social media. She claimed that a machine was keeping her quiet and feeding false narratives about her. Apparently, a very wealthy, extremely effective publicity machine was at work against her. One that had no morals and no responsibility for the truth. She was just stuck here, reading the lies and trying to defend her crew as she moved along. Later, all she could do was try to keep her calm, but in the end, Pauley Perrette had had enough. The actress was also candid about her confusion about whether to come forward or not. She shared that perhaps she was making a mistake by not telling the truth sooner, and repeated multiple times that she believes she must defend her team and the work they do, but she wasn't sure at what price. I don't know about you guys, but all of this is just sending alarm bells in my head. Does being an executive producer give you that much power over how things go down? Or perhaps it wasn't just Mark Harmon. The network was involved as well? Speaking of the network, CBS issued the following statement in light of her exit as well. Long story short, the whole thing read something like Pauley had a tremendous run on NCIS, and that they're all going to miss her. Pretty predictable and not saying anything either, huh? Very clever of you, CBS, but I see what you're doing. If I'm being fair, they also addressed the fact that the actress had approached them with a workplace concern more than a year ago. In response, they stated that they were serious about the situation and had collaborated with her to find a solution. I'm not sure which side to believe just yet, but at the end of the day, it does feel like a very valid reason to quit your job. Pauley announced that the decision had already been made a year ago. Safety first, always, ladies. Because it wasn't just about the dog. It escalated further than that, to allegations of physical assault. We know that we already told you that Perrette resigned due to Mark. Although Harmon never addressed the problems or responded to the press, he too took a step back from acting. While Pauley talked about how she was still grieving the choice to leave, she also talked about her PTSD, because allegedly, there had been multiple physical assault attempts too, although the details on those never came to the surface too much. But again, Perrette tweeted, "No, I'm not coming back, ever. Please stop asking. I'm terrified of Harmon and him attacking me." That paints a pretty clear picture, doesn't it? She also shared that she still has nightmares about it. So while 5 years may have passed, it's best to leave the two alone, to allow Pauley to heal from everything she's been through, which she never even went back to acting after. Even if it wasn't what she said at the time of her exit. At the end of season 15, Pauley Perrette announced that she would be leaving. At the time, the actress assured fans that there was no bad blood between her and the network, or the show for that matter. Apparently, the decision had already been made the year before. Makes sense now, right? The 54-year-old comforted viewers by stating that her character Abby will receive a special send-off too, all in an attempt to put an end to any worries or rumors that the character may die and be denied a happy ending. While at the time it sounded well and good, now we know what really went down. A very different narrative seemed to be playing behind the scenes. And perhaps Mark Harmon will always be the reason that Abby will never return to the NCIS set, no matter how many times she's asked. She really wants you to stop asking. The trauma from everything she went through because of Mark Harmon caused the actress to announce her retirement in 2020 at the premiere of her sitcom Broke, the series she appeared in after NCIS. But rumors of her return never really stopped. In April 2021, she posted that she meant it, and 2 years later, it still holds true. So, from how the beef between the co-actors became the reason Pauley will never return to NCIS, to Mark Harmon's dog biting a coworker, this was the real reason the actress refuses to work with Mark Harmon.